Hey guys, welcome back to the Mets franchise as we are going to go through the trade deadline this episode, and we're pretty much just going to finish the rest of the season. I don't want to get too ahead of the video, but you're going to see later on that we're just so far ahead in the division like we are right now that we're just going to go ahead, knock out the regular season. What's the point of playing that last month? We know we're going to win the division, and we'll get to the postseason. But here's what you'll see in this episode. We're going to have a World Series rematch against the Angels, and then we're going to play 3 more games after. So 4 games in total. We'll end the season, see how everyone did. But before we do that, I'll show you guys what I did at the trade deadline. We did make a couple of moves. Firstly, we traded for Tanner Scott, San Francisco Giants relief pitcher, closing pitcher, and whatever he is. He's not going to be our closer, obviously. We lost Munoz last year, who we got at the trade deadline. He was vital in our World Series run that we had, that 8th inning guy that was dominant. We don't have that this year. We have Coleman, who's pretty solid, but Tanner Scott, I think, could be the guy where he's pretty good. He's got this year and next year if we do go for that three-peat, if we win this year. So he'll be a big piece. I was going to say big key or big piece, but he'll be both in the back end of that bullpen. So him and Coleman could be that 7th, 8th inning guy, and then to get it over to Diaz. We traded outfielder right there who we're never going to use, and Tadhito Kato, relief pitcher, 20 years old, only see potential, but he did make the minor league all-star team, so I was like, hey, throw him in there. Why not? So Giants get back an outfielder and a relief pitcher. Another guy we're going to trade for is Jordan Romano. He's not having a good year, 4.96 ERA, but he is in the last year of his contract, and he is, as you can see, his previous 2 years before that, 60.1 innings in 2026 with a 1.94 ERA. He's still got good stuff. He's getting up there in age, and he's not having a great year, but Jordan Romano is going to help a middle of the bullpen. So we're pretty much just stacking the bullpen and gearing up for this postseason run. We're going to be trading Brandon Sprout, 26 years old, 74 overall. He is on the 40-man roster. He's not really going to get a chance to be in our starting rotation. I don't trust him enough to be in there. He's got decent stats, though. Maybe he could fill in for the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are not good this year. They're losing a couple starters after the end of the season. So maybe we'll see him, if we do play the Blue Jays next year, maybe we'll see him in Toronto. But either way, what we have to do to make room for these two, we are going to designate Scott Barlow for assignment and try to send him down to AAA. We'll see if anyone claims him. But Scott Barlow's having a bad year. He hasn't really been in much, and when he has, it just hasn't been good. So even though we owe him $9 million, we're just not gonna deal with it. And the odd man out, Clark Schmidt, he doesn't deserve to be sent down, but he's gonna have to be because we don't need long relief pitchers. We need guys who can go and shut down innings in the bullpen. So here's what our bullpen looks like now. We got Loaizaga, Soto, Okert, Romano, Marinaccio, Dylan Coleman, Tanner Scott, and Edwin Diaz. Looking much better. As I think that's, you can't ask for a much better bullpen going into the postseason. So if we don't win it this year, and if it is our bullpen's fault, what can we do? We've tried. Anyway, we got Senga on the mound. World Series rematch, Mets and Angels here in Citi Field. Senga did not pitch in that series. He might have came in out of the bullpen when we blew them out a couple times, but he was not a starter in that series. So Senga pitches, gets the first guy to strike out. Next batter, Anthony Rendon, 2-2 count. He goes down swinging on a nice low fastball in the zone. So Senga dealing early on. It'd be Mike Trout, who struggled mightily in the World Series. Having a good year, though, batting .329. But Senga strikes him out, picking up right where we left off against the Angels last season. We're going up against Robbie Ray, a guy who did not pitch in the World Series either for the Angels. But another lefty, and we've had no problem beating up on Angels lefties in that series. So we're hoping to do more of the same. Brandon Nimmo's leading off, and he finds the gap. That's headed towards the left center field wall. Trout's going to cut it off, but it's going to be a leadoff double for Brandon Nimmo. So picking up right where we left off against the Angels. Next batter, Kyle Tucker. He's going to line one, base hit in a right field. Brandon Nimmo's going to round third, and just like that, it's 1-0 Mets already in the first inning, as we are off to a hot start in this World Series rematch. A couple batters later, Francisco Lindor hits one deep in the left center field. Left fielder's going back. He's running back. He looks up, and it's gone. A 2-run shot for Francisco Lindor. 3-0 Mets here in the first inning. We've been on a roll the last couple episodes. It's been a while since we lost on video, and we're hoping to do more of the same as Kyle Tucker in the third goes no doubt down the right field line. Almost cleared the stadium deep into the second deck in right field. That was 3-1 at the time he hit it. It's now 4-1 New York. So Kyle Tucker way out of here is that one. Last couple of rows out there in the second deck. We're going all the way to the 6th inning. Senga's still on the mound. He's pitching great. Gets Mike Trout to strike out again. He's trying to just get through the 6th inning and call it a day. He's at 99 pitches. Brandon Drury up next. He goes down looking. Front door slider. Beautiful pitch from Senga. Last batter would be Yo Moncada. 1-2 count, and he would ground to second. Jake Berger playing second today. Puts him away, and Senga goes 6 innings. Only 1 earned run. As we're going to get a look at a couple of our new faces. Jordan Romano would come on for the 7th inning, and he would work it pretty cleanly as he gets a 1-2-3 inning. Logan O'Hoppe flies to right, and it's a clean 7th inning for Jordan Romano. We go to the 8th. We have Tanner Scott on the mound, another new guy we traded for, having a decent year. Looks like he came in a couple times since we traded for him. We simmed about a week or two ahead or whatever it was, just a week. Anyway, he gets a strikeout right there to start off the 8th. Next, 2 batters later, it's Anthony Rendon. He gets him to line to center. Luis Roberts right there. He works a 1-2-3 8th inning. So our 2 new guys work 1-2-3 innings in the 7th and 8th to set up the closer, Edwin Diaz. 33 for 38 in save ops this season. Not terrible, but I mean, it's really not bad. 3.79. He's having another good year, but he's usually a little more dominant. But anyway, he gets Yo Moncada to strike out, and the Mets win this World Series rematch 4-1. We had a couple home runs early in the game, 3 in the first inning, 3 runs, in the first inning, and then a Kyle Tucker solo shot was all the offense we got, but it was enough. As a great pitching performance from Senga, and then Romano and Scott turned it over to Edwin Diaz for the win. Should be the recipe for, that should be the formula to win in the postseason. As we'll jump ahead a couple weeks to the West Coast as we're playing San Francisco. Tariq Skubal signed in the offseason for them, and he's been phenomenal, 3.31. In his first stint with San Francisco. 2 out, nobody on the first. It's Pete Alonso, and Pete Alonso, no doubt, in the right field. That's not going to clear the seats out there and right, and not going to be a splash hit, but that one is out of here as Pete Alonso solo home run the opposite way gives the Mets an early 1-0 lead, and that's number 38 on the season. And we got over a month to go, so hopefully he could chase 50. We'll see. Corbin Burns here. We're jumping ahead to the 3rd. Just show him dealing along so far. In the 4th, Corbin Burns again. Another strikeout. Luis Matos right there. Next up, former Met Ahmed Rosario. He's going to go down swinging at a high sinker, top of the zone. Brilliant pitch. And Lourdes Gurriel Jr., he's going down swinging as well. High cutter. So that's 4 Ks in a row for Corbin Burns. He had his strikeout stuff working in this one. In the 5th, we got to run our first 1 out for Brett Beatty, and he's going deep into Triple's alley. That ball is going to hit off the wall, but perfectly to the center fielder. And that Triple's alley takes a lot of weird hops. This one was just perfect. The relay was perfect, and Brett Beatty is thrown out at 3rd trying to get a triple, but a run would score. It's 2-0. Anyway, in the 6th, that pitch looked like could have been called a strike, but it's ball 4. So runner on first, leadoff walk. Next pitch, that ball was definitely in the zone. Again called ball 4. So the umpire squeezing Corbin Burns here in the 6th inning. 1st and 2nd, 1 out. And it's Garrett Hampson, no out. Garrett Hampson finds the gap. Luis Robert can't get there, but it bounces over the wall. And that kind of helped us out because it's only 1 run's going to score. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out though. Next batter, Luis Matos grounds to first. The infield was back, but not a lot of speed on 3rd, so we might have caught a break there. Ahmed Rosario up next. Shallow left. Brandon Nimmo, we know, has no arm. Are they going to test him? They are, even with 37 speed. And Brandon Nimmo throws up the line. The tag just misses. And a run scores, and this game is tied at 2. Brandon Nimmo, just terrible, terrible arm. No matter how shallow it is, everyone tests his arm, and he never throws anybody out. So this game is tied after 6. That would be it for Corbin Burns. But in the 7th, it's Luis Robert. Right down the 3rd base line. That's a base hit to lead off the top of the 7th here in this tied game. Next batter, Francisco Lindor. 1-2 count on him, and Lindor goes deep to right, and that one's headed for the bay, way out of here, over the seats in right field, and a splash hit for Francisco Lindor. Big 2-run home run, gives the Mets a 4-2 lead, and just like that, we're right back on top. Number 22 for Francisco Lindor, so again, he's having another good power season. He had a career-high 34 bombs last year, and he's been hitting good this year as well. Been getting better with age, surprisingly. He's been phenomenal these last 2 seasons. Still in the 7th, his bases loaded, one out for Kyle Tucker. He goes deep to right field, battling back to right fielder Austin Meadows at the wall, and he makes the play in front of the wall. It's a sac fly, RBI, 6-2 New York. This one would end 7-2 as we pretty much cruised from there. Ron Marinaccio closes it out, and we win another one in convincing fashion. Was close there in the 7th, tied at 2, but we pulled ahead, had a big 7th inning, scored another one in the quick sim, and it was a 7-2 victory. So we continue our winning ways. Here we are in the last month, September, and this is where I decided to, let's just finish the regular season off, play against the Pirates, and then we'll play the last game of the season against St. Louis. But you can see they're off to a good start of September, won 5 out of 6 already, or 4 out of 5. But here we are, 15 games up. The Braves' elimination number is 5, so we're not going to blow this division. There's just no way. So we'll just go ahead and play out the rest of the season. The Braves were pretty bad for a while, but now they've gotten over 500. They actually might make the playoffs. We'll see how they do, but that's crazy because they've been bad kind of all season, and they still might make it. The Pirates haven't been good this year, although they signed some good pitching. They traded Brian Hayes randomly mid-season. So they got Tristan McKenzie on the mound. One of the guys they signed in the offseason for a lot of money. He's been doing good. He has not been the problem. But just the Pirates in general, just not good enough. Savali, speaking of not good enough, Savali on the mound, 4.96. Just yikes. It has not been what I thought we would get from Savali. Anyway, the first highlight would come all the way in the bottom of the 4th. It's Bubba Thompson down the third base line. It's going to be a leadoff double in the 4th inning for Pittsburgh. So that would be the first, I think, runner of the whole game. We didn't really do anything so far. Jacob Wilson next up. He strikes out swinging. So Savali trying to get out of this jam. It's Robert Dill with one out. He's going to hit one hard past the infield, up the middle for a base hit. Run's going to come around and score. So it's 1-0 Pittsburgh in the 4th. We jump ahead all the way to the 6th. We still haven't done a thing against Tristan McKenzie. We finally get a leadoff guy on for the first time all night. That's Teoscar Hernandez, leadoff walk. Next up, Ramon Urias, top of the order. That's lined into left field. It's a base hit. First and second, nobody out in the 6th. We finally have some sort of a rally going. Next guy would fly out. It's Kyle Tucker up next. Chops to second. On the second for one. The throw back to first in time. Double play. Rally. Killed. We haven't done that much this season, to be fair. But it happens here in the 6th. 2 out, runner on first. Savali trying to get through 6. It's Robert Dill again. Pokes one to left field. Down the line. Runner coming home from first. A relay from Lindor is just not in time. And another run for Pittsburgh. We would leave Savali in to face Jacob Berry, and what a mistake. That ball is crushed as Savali could not get through the 6th. That would be it for Savali after the batter. We left him in one more batter just to get through 6 innings, try to help his ERA out as much as we can. We ended up just hurting it as the Pirates start pulling away, and this one's 4-0. Clark Schmidt on the mound in the 8th. And I don't know what that was from Brett Beatty. Not sure what happened there with the animation, but terrible defense, and another run scores as that one gets past Brett Beatty. 5-0. Bases loaded, 1 out. Clark Schmidt's going to get out of this, though. He's going to get Novelli Marte looking, and then he's going to get Evan Carter, who's on Pittsburgh, looking as well. Nice slurve. But 5-0 going into the 9th would be the score. First and second, 2 out. Brett Beatty's going to keep this game alive just for the meantime. Base hit, run scores. 5-1 now. Runner on first and third. So we don't have the tying run up to the plate just yet, but if Alvarez can get on, we will, but he will not. He'll ground out to second, and the Pirates win. So we lose our first game on video for quite a while. It has been a while. I don't think the last 2, maybe 3 episodes, we've been winning everything. So we lose this one, and we're going to sim ahead all the way to the end. We didn't have a terrible month, but we lost these last 2 to St. Louis. So we got to try not to get swept to end the season. 96-65 is our record, so the best we can do is 97 wins, which is surprising because we really were off to a great start all season. I thought we were going to surpass 100 wins with ease, and we're not going to get there. But it's okay. We're not going to worry about how many wins we have in the regular season. We're into the postseason. We got the first round bye. That's all that matters. Up against the Cardinals, last game of the season. Let's see if these guys can pad their stats. It's Ramon Urias, base hit up the middle. He's trying to stay above the 300 line. He was hitting 301 in this game. Brandon Nimmo, he loves himself a game 162 home run. That's 3 straight years with a home run on game 162. Go back if you don't believe me. But yes, that is 3 straight years with a home run on the final game of the regular season, and he increases his yearly total to 37. So 37 bombs this year from Nimmo. Power was there. Still in the first, second, and third. Francisco Lindor with a base hit. 1 run scores, but Francisco Alvarez is gunned out at home. Just going for it with 2 outs, but not a wise decision. Anyway, it's a 3-run first for Logan Gilbert. So we gave him 3 runs of support. ERA just barely under 4. So we're hoping for a good outing for him to have it convincingly under 4. Anyway, in the second, it's going to be another base hit for Ramon Urias, second of the game already, and that is an RBI. So 4-0 New York in the second inning. Going to the third now, it's Pete Alonso to lead off, and he goes deep into left field. Left fielder looks up, and this one is gone. That's actually in the second deck. 5-0 Mets in the third, and that's significant because that is the 50th home run of the season for Pete Alonso. He might win MVP. Stay tuned. We will see who wins it all. Anyway, in the fourth, Logan Gilbert's in some troubles. First and second, then he walks for the bases loaded. Next batter, Barger. He walks. That pitch was totally in the zone, but Logan Gilbert getting the squeeze, so he walks in a run. It's 6-1. Still nobody out, bases loaded. Ivan Herrera up next, 3-2 count. That's lined into right field. That's going to drop in front of Tucker for a base hit. 1 run's going to score. They're not going to test Tucker's arm. They actually learned this time. 6-2. Still nobody out, bases loaded. That one's lined over short for a base hit. Edwin Arroyo knocks in 2, and it's 6-4. Just like that. Still nobody out in the fourth inning. Next up, that's a ground ball past Lindor. Victor Scott with a base hit, and just like that, it's 6-5. Logan Gilbert still hasn't gotten an out in the fourth inning, and Alex Cora has seen enough. We're going to the bullpen. Clark Schmidt coming in. He's pitched a lot this season, coming in a long relief, but he needs to settle this thing down. 6-5, and there's still nobody out, but beautiful tailor-made 5-4-3 double play, exactly what we needed. So we're 1 out away from getting out of this fourth inning, but Luis Arraez is going to find the hole. It's a base hit, another base hit for St. Louis in the fourth inning, and just like that, it is 6-6. We were up 6-0 going into the fourth. But the inning's not over. Alec Burleson, he hits one up the middle past the diving Urias. That's a base hit. It's still a rally for the Cardinals in the bottom of the fourth. First and second for Jordan Walker, and he's going to bloop one into right. Kyle Tucker coming on. He wanted to end that inning and dive for it. Terrible mistake. That goes by him. 2 runs are going to score. Jordan Walker's headed to third with a triple. It's an 8-run fourth inning. As Kyle Tucker, it was red, so I thought we might have had to dive, but looking back, we probably didn't. And the inning's still not over. Max Muncy hits a base hit up the middle to score Walker. It's a 9-run disaster class of a fourth inning here, and the Cardinals have erased the 6-run deficit in just 1 inning. And finally, Clark Schmidt will get out of this fourth, but that was bad. We're jumping ahead to the fifth. It's now 12-6. We're down 6 runs, and the Cardinals are not done scoring. Jordan Walker again comes through. Another run scores. 13-6. The throw to third is in plenty of time, but Brett Beatty can't slap that tag on. Just a terrible. This game went downhill fast. Ramon Urias would get another hit this game, and that actually clears the fence out there and left. 2-run shot, making it 13-8. So don't count us out just yet. Our offense is pretty explosive, although the Cardinals decided to show us their offensive explosiveness as well. Bottom of the sixth, they're not done scoring runs. Another base hit up the middle. Brendan Donovan this time makes it 14-8. Savali was on the mound to get some working because he won't be in our rotation in the postseason. And yeah, that was not good. Anyway, this would be the final Cardinals run. Romano's on the mound just because I needed someone out of the bullpen to get these outs, and they would score off Romano, make it 17 runs for the St. Louis. 17-11 would be the final. So high scoring game, but man, that was just that was a disaster over there in that fourth inning. And we lose the final game of the season. So we only finish with 96 wins after what I call a pretty dominant season, it felt like. But we didn't even reach the 100 mark. But like I said, it's okay. It's not really what we're in it for. We're in it to win it, not to get 100 wins. Let's look ahead at the other standings. The Braves actually made the playoffs. Wow. Look ahead at the other standings. Cardinals won their division. They had it won already. So, and that sweeping us actually pretty much gave them the division. So Cardinals win. Brewers make the wild card, though, and the Reds just miss out. They finished under 500. Cubs were awful this year, surprisingly. They were good last year. Diamondbacks are the best team in the National League. So we don't have the first seed. We have the second seed. Diamondbacks won 100 games. They beat the Dodgers out by 13 games in the NL West. Very impressive from Arizona, so we might have to run into them. We'll see. Dodgers, Brewers, and Braves all make the wild card. So I think that means we're playing the winner of the Braves and the Cardinals. We'll go over the bracket at the end, but I'm pretty sure that's what that means. Remember the trade deadline, all three of these teams were one game within each other. Well, the Rays ran away with the AL East. Orioles made the wild card, and Yankees finished way out. Very underwhelming from the Yanks. Another tight division at the trade deadline turned out not to be close. The Guardians won the Central by 9 games. Twins and Tigers did not make the playoffs. And look at this division. Talk about close division. Angels, the defending AL champions, they won the AL West by 2 games. 3 teams in the same division had 96-plus wins. That is crazy how close that was. You see the first 2 wildcard teams with 96 wins, and the Orioles made it. Twins had the record, but they lost out on the head-to-head or one of the differentials, so they lose out. Let's see how our team did. Ramon Urias was fantastic. We signed him to be a leadoff guy, contact guy, high average. He was exactly that, hit 304. Nimmo, you saw, hit 37 bombs, hit 274, 85 ribbies. Absolutely amazing. He's worth all the money the Mets gave him all those years ago, you know, in terms of this save. 29 home runs for Kyle Tucker. He just misses out on 30, and he hit 260. It's not bad. I'll take that. But the main guy all season, of course, our MVP, if he doesn't win the real one, we'll see. But 289, 50 bombs, and 129 ribbies. Fantastic from Pete Alonso. Career season, he's had more home runs, obviously, but 289 with 50 bombs. Yeah, he was fantastic. Brett Beatty was pretty dang good. 267, 23 homers, and 82 RBIs. I'll take that every season. Free agent after this year, so big decision. Or is it next year? No, I think it's next year. I don't remember, but anyway. And Alvarez missed 2 months, 17 homers still. Yeah, okay, not terrible. He was hot until he got hurt, and that kind of ruined his whole season. So, you know, kind of had a down year. We'll move him down in the order. Francisco Lindor was great. 273, 27 homers, and 74 RBIs. Another great offensive season from Francisco Lindor. We love him. Luis Robert is definitely a free agent after the season, and I don't think he's going to get signed back. 35 bombs and 71 ribbies is great. 239 on the average. Keeps dropping year after year. You know, I'm an average guy. Call me old school, but I like average. I know not everyone needs to hit for average, and 35 home runs is very valuable, but I don't know if he's worth all that money. Teoscar Hernandez somehow didn't finish with 20 homers. I swear he had like 15 or 16 at like the All-Star break and only finished with 19. He never got hurt and played every day. I don't understand, but he hit 264 and he had like 32 doubles, so we'll take it. The pitching side of things, not bad as well. Corbin Burns was our ace, and he pitched like it all season. Sub-3 ERA for him. It's 2.85 he finishes with. 192 Ks. 195 Ks for Julio Urias in 196 innings. His ERA was kind of mediocre at the 3.58, especially for being pretty low 3s / high 2s all season. He finished with it pretty high, but I'm not going to complain. He pitched pretty good. Logan Gilbert, in the 4s for him. That's not what I was expecting. I was kind of expecting a good year, and we know he was not good in that last game of the season. So we'll see. Depending on who we play, I don't know if he's going to be 3rd or 4th in our rotation, because Senga actually finished the season really strong. 3.91 ERA and 182 innings. What's crazy, he's been with this franchise from the beginning, and he hasn't pitched a postseason game. He was the odd guy out last year, and the years before that, he just hasn't got in. Savali will definitely be moved to long relief for the playoffs. 5.01 is not good enough, especially over 186 innings. He was just bad. Started off really good, really bad. It's a shame. I need him to bounce back next year. He's not going anywhere. We still owe him $20 million over the next 2 seasons, so whatever. Try to bounce back. Loaizaga pitched great. Gregory Soto was, okay, not terrible. Needed a lefty in there. He gave us 46 innings. Stephen O'Kurt was great, 1.71. Funny enough, that was the same exact ERA he had last year. He pitched way more innings last year, which is funny. 1.71 was the same number. Jordan Romano came to us with a 4.96 ERA. He is going to finish the season with 3.75. Brilliant out of the bullpen. Marinaccio, very good, finally for once. 2.79 in 48 and a third innings. Coleman was fantastic, 303 and 32.2. Not going to complain with that. Tanner Scott, he gave us obviously not all 50 innings, but his stats over the whole season, great, 3.22. And Edwin Diaz with a 3.86. We will take that. And just to show you guys, you'll see how many saves he had this season. He had 44 saves, 7 blown saves. So he blew 7 last year as well, 8 the year before. But that's 4 straight seasons in this franchise with 40-plus saves for Edwin Diaz. So very, very good stuff. The highest ERA he's had and his whole career was this year, 3.86, and by a lot too. So that's a little bit concerning for the playoffs, but we still trust him. Going to league leaders, Ramon Arias didn't lead the league, but he finished 4th in batting average, and I just wanted to show that because that's exactly what we signed him for. We love him. And we had one guy lead 2 categories. Obviously, Pete Alonso led in home runs, 50 homers. Next closest was Juan Soto at 44. Brent Rooker with the Phillies had 42. But yeah, Pete Alonso hit the 50 mark, final game of the season, and his 129 ribbies were enough as well to get him the RBI crown. And that wouldn't be the only crown he got, as Pete Alonso has won the MVP. We get our first MVP of this whole franchise. It's been what? This is the 4th, 5th year. I don't even remember at this point. We have not had an MVP, but Pete Alonso breaks that streak. 289, 50 bombs, 129 ribbies, hit for power, average, and drove in plenty of runs. He was clutch as well. We're going to go ahead and just look at his whole stat line, just in case you guys wanted to see his OPS and stuff. It's the really only thing that doesn't show on these first 3 that you might want to look at. As 50 bombs, he had 24 doubles, he even hit 2 triples. He hadn't hit a triple since 2023, so basically in this whole franchise he hadn't hit a triple, but he hit 2 of them. 353 on base and a 931 OPS. Very, very good stuff from our MVP, Pete Alonso. So that wraps up this video. That wraps up the regular season. Here's the bracket real quick before we go. We are awaiting the winner of Atlanta and St. Louis, the wildcard series. St. Louis, the 3 seed, of course, so they'll be home. Arizona awaits the winner of the Dodgers and the Brewers. In the American League side of things, obviously the most fascinating matchup, the wildcard round between 2 96-win teams, Texas and Houston. And it's a shame because the Angels, even though they're the first seed with 98 wins, no matter what, they're going to be playing a 96-win team in the ALDS. But, that's just how it goes in this one. So Angels await Texas and Houston. And Tampa Bay gets the 3rd seed. They didn't get a bye this time. That's actually surprising because they usually always do. They got to play Baltimore. They should be heavy favorites against Baltimore. And then Cleveland is the 2 seed. Last year, it was the Angels in Cleveland in the ALCS, so on pace for a rematch there, but a lot of good teams in the American League. And last year was us and the Padres for the NLCS, but they are obviously not in it. We also played the Marlins in the DS, and they aren't in it this year too. So all different postseason matches depending on how far we go. Maybe a World Series rematch against the Angels. That would be pretty cool. I would feel pretty confident in that one. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like. We'll be back with the NLDS in the next one. See you.